From Las Vegas, Sandy Kastel and friends.
Welcome to Sandy Kastel and Friends, produced by Michael Leonetti. Sandy Kastel has been entertaining audiences for years on stage, screen, radio, and television. And for the next 60 minutes, she'll be talking with local and international performers, artists, authors, celebrities, and more, with special features like women in music and arts, shopping at Smith's, cooking with Chef Michael, and staying fit and fabulous forever. Now, let's bring on the host. Here is Sandy Kastel.
Hi, and good morning, and welcome to Sandy Kastel and Friends Variety Show with Chef Michael, where you can learn how to cook Italian style for your family and friends.
Yeah, sure.
Our special guest today in the studio is Peter Anthony of Let's Talk About Your Hair.
Oh, my
Hi,
God.
Peter.
Not Peter Anthony.
Not Peter Anthony. That guy's crazy. Don't let him near your hair. He's got his scissors on the radio.
Oh, my gosh. And also, James Goya is going to be calling in, and he talks about how to attract money with mind power. Ooh.
How
I
exciting.
gotta listen to
That should
that.
be
Yeah,
fun.
I had to attract money. Man, go Guido. He collected. Trust me. The same mind power.
So you can call us at 702-731-1230 and ask Chef Michael about his South Philadelphia recipes.
That's right.
And he will give you his secret to success, cooking Italian with only 4 spices you have in your kitchen right now.
Right.
You can also watch Chef Michael prepare 5 dishes on Shopping at Smith's on YouTube.
How exciting.
And stay posted for more about our upcoming TV show where Chef Michael will go into the kitchen with Tuscany Grill's very own chef, Jerry Borman, to prepare your favorite Italian recipes and desserts. Of course, Jerry's going to be preparing the desserts because Michael does not bake.
I don't bake.
But he cooks. He cooks.
That's right.
So you can also watch Sandy Kastel and Friends on our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter. You can also find out more about us at our website, sandycastelandfriends.com. So, with no further ado, let's talk to Chef Michael and find out what his special recipe is going to be for us today.
All right. Well, before I talk about my recipes,
Oh, he's got to talk about something else.
of course I want. Last night
I should have known better.
That's right. Last night we were at the Tuscany Grill in Henderson. I got to tell you something. Number one, we were packed. We were jammed. There was not a seat to be had in the place. Lou had a ball. Big Mike at the bar. I felt so bad for that kid because he couldn't get out of the bar to watch the show.
He did take a peek, though. I saw him on
I
your
know,
drum solo.
right.
Yes, he was watching.
And I got to tell you something. There was a guy who was 91 years old.
Just turned 91. Yes.
So I get the microphone, and you got to understand something, everybody. The Tuscany, all right, the people that from the Tuscany, they have one of the most successful, well-oiled machines you could ever possibly imagine when it comes to Italian cuisine. Take it from me, all right? Because if something's bad, I'm going to say it.
Because you know what Chef Michael does? The first thing he does when he goes to an
Right.
Italian restaurant, he asks for the meatballs. He says, bring me a meatball.
Right.
He says, oh, you want some sauce on it? No, I just want the meatball. And then he taste tests it right there.
Right, I really do. And I can tell right off the bat because it's funny because Pete and I, we all went, I didn't want to say where we went. And I sat down and I said, give me the meatball. And I tasted it. And I looked at Pete, this thing's dead. I said, Martha.
Got hit by a car and
Right.
left to the side of the road.
It had no flavor.
It's terrible.
It was horrible. But anyway, we're at the
Well,
Tuscany.
we won't say where we were.
No.
Well,
it was
no,
not.
but they might have made that other meatball in, Pennsylvania or something.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, there must have been. Anyway, what happened was that we're at the Tuscany. The band is swinging. We're having a ball. And it was like New Year's Eve. So there's a guy, he's 90-something years old, 91 years old. I went over to him and I sang for him. I said, everybody, come on, sing. And it was so out of character because this is a restaurant. This is not a supper club. It's a restaurant. You know what I mean? And where they had the main table at, it's in a cubbyhole.
Right.
That you could see 20 people.
Right.
Lou moved everything out of the way to put the band in that section where we were the band was in there. We were standing right in the front where the waiters actually had to move around us to get into the kitchen.
Well, we made some room. Yeah, we
Right.
pushed the tables back a little bit.
And the old man, I said, this guy's 91. Usually when you swing, these guys, they're old. I mean, they want to go home. This guy stayed all night, clapped his hands, and I said, geez, he said, I feel so good. He said, I love the show. And then there was a guy in the back. His name was Rocky, Italian guy.
Rocco and Annette.
Rocco and Annette.
That's right.
And I said, I'm going to mention you today. And I walked him back, and Italian people, I got to tell you something. East Coast Italians, even West Coast. He came up, I shook his hand. he hugged me. He said, "My God, you made me feel at home. You made me feel at home with this music," and it was great. So. I want to thank the Tuscany for making it possible for me to perform there. Because I'm going to tell you something: the people that are on that side of town, Anthem, it's like New York, the Bronx, Staten Island, Queens. They're not going to different places. They're going to stay in their home base.
Well, yeah, especially
Absolutely.
if they're going out late at night.
Late
they
at
want to
night,
stay
right?
closer
Exactly.
to where
They
live.
want to stay home.
But we brought
Especially
the
if
west
they're
side
going
over to the
Italian
east side.
We
last
had
night.
Jolie.
That's right.
We had Jolie.
Jolie and Pirko live over in Henderson.
Right.
And
they came to see us.
somebody else lives over. A couple of the people that normally drive all the way over to see us anywhere else, wherever we're at in town, they live over on the east side. So for them, it was nice and a pleasant change for them to be
Right.
able to just drive 5 minutes from their house and come and see us. Yeah.
And all our friends were there.
Not all your friends weren't there.
Well, not
No,
all
Peter
my
wasn't
friends.
there.
Peter wasn't
and
there.
Stephanie,
And Stephanie.
they were
Yeah,
babysitting.
They were
They're babies.
babysitting. But anyway,
They're adorable kids. Oh
Tony
my
and
gosh.
George were there. Dr. Perry, naturally, the Grossos, the billionaires. The Grossos were there with Tanners, and then he brought some people from his school, his high school buddy. They
came in from Connecticut.
And it was really great. And I want to tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Again. The room seats 120 people. Do yourself a favor, make a reservation, because it was funny because as people were leaving, Pete, they were making reservations for the next week.
Well, yeah, because a lot of them, go to dinner early, and then by the time we got there and we're setting up, of course, we set up the night before most of our stuff, and then as they were leaving, they'd already been there 2 hours, and they're like, "Well, what time are you guys going to start playing?" And they said, "Okay, next week we're going to come, but we'll come a little later so we can hang out."
So
with you guys.
last night I was so hungry, you know what I mean? And I got to be careful eating late at night because I got acid reflux like a billion other people in the world. And I said, "What do you want to eat?" Jerry said, "What do you want, Mike?" I said, just give me a dish of pasta vazul. I'm going to tell you something, folks.
It was great.
Their pasta vazul tastes just like my
All we
grandmother's.
do is talk about food, Peter. Just
I know. I'm
telling you,
all I do is sit here, listen, and get fatter.
So Jimmy Melodor said to me, "Mikey, what do you want? What are you going to eat?" I said, "Get a dish of pasta vazul."
Oh, my God.
Their
It was a
bread,
bowl
the
like
bread
this.
that they have.
They
You got to
make their
see
own
this
bread?
No, they get this bread in. I'm telling you something. It's
$5 a loaf.
It's
$5 a loaf.
Oh yeah, but they give you these big,
Oh,
thick
forget it. My
slices.
kids, it cost me $1,000 to just take my children.
Well, no, that's what it cost. Them. So I mean, that's
So
the thing.
they
But
charge
they're
you 10?
giving. No, they give it to you.
They
They
give it to you.
A $5
it's with
loaf
your
of
dinner.
bread.
The
But you
bread
don't get
isn't
the
not
whole
the whole
loaf.
loaf, but the bread is incredible. Because with Italian people, I'm serious. The bread's very
The
important.
bread makes or breaks the
Oh
meal.
my gosh,
That's the
especially
key.
for the dunking. You got.
You gotta
It was
dunk,
great.
you gotta
So
sauce
anyway,
it
we had a
with
great
sauce.
Especially
time.
the pasta fazool.
And we want to thank you, Lou. I know you're listening in, you red son of a... I love you, buddy. You're the greatest. You're the best. And Jerry Borman, I love that kid. I just love that kid. What a phenomenal chef. And I say that with respect.
And the cheesecake.
Oh my
gosh.
God! Nobody's
Really
got
good
nobody
Oh, my
makes
God.
cheesecake
You're really
like
in
that.
trouble, I
Tuscany.
gotta
I'm in
tell you.
so much trouble.
Hell
The
no.
cheesecake.
Hell no.
Here's how I judge an Italian restaurant. Two ways. I
The
love
meatballs
the bread,
and the cheesecake.
Forget. We're not getting to the. I judge them by their espresso.
Oh,
Really?
yeah.
Because so many times you go out and you ask for an espresso and it's not hot.
First of all,
Right.
Like it's a half an ounce of coffee and it's not hot. How does that make any sense?
yeah.
Well, let me tell you what.
They just put it in a small cup, right?
They put it. They put in dirty
Yeah.
coffee in a small cup. That's not espresso, people.
Right.
Well, let me tell you what Lou did. One guy went into the Tuscany one day and said, "This espresso is not to my liking." And Lou says, "Well, what kind do you like?" He said, "I was in Italy, and I went to Rome," and he mentioned it. Lou put this guy on a plane, flew him to Italy, just so he can get a cup of espresso. Lou's gonna say, "I'll kill you."
You're right. Espresso is espresso.
It's better than the plan I had in mind.
And
all right.
you're right. Half the time you get it, and it's just like regular coffee, just in a little small cup,
Yeah.
and you put a ton of sugar. But it's dense. It's
dense. It has to be dense.
Yeah.
Well, that's like, when you do like espresso one day, like my father one day ran out of gas, and my mother made some Medaglia coffee. Medaglia coffee is the Italian coffee. He put that coffee in the tank. My father had a 59 Guggendin. It kicked right over. He had no problem.
Fumes everywhere, man. That stuff's strong.
Listen,
Yeah.
Chef Michael,
Yes, my love.
why don't you ask?
My
why don't
buddy-
you ask him?
Well,
see,
let me
what
tell you
his
something.
favorite dishes. And
Well,
see,
before I-
maybe you can tell him.
All right, I got to tell everybody that Peter. We're so excited that Peter Anthony is one of our major sponsors sponsors and does Sandy's hair, and he makes her look more beautiful. And I said, "Yo,
He's
Pete,
actually managing my hair
the
color.
hair color."
So he's managing
and I
my
said,
hair color.
I said, Pete, what about my hair color? He said, and he said something in Italian. He said that this word means so many things. He went, forget about it.
Forget about it.
He said, I would suggest you to just get yourself a rug.
Well, he has one of those things. He said I could shave it for you.
Well,
No.
you can't manage skin tones. That's a makeup artist.
Why don't you do? You could do some zigzags or something. Like they do.
Oh, yeah, old school
the
stuff
side.
like our contest coming up, the men's haircutting championships. We'll let them work you out, man.
Work what, Pete? I don't have enough hair on my head to make a toupee for a grape.
Six hairs or more gets a cut.
Oh, mommy, then I got a shot.
You got a shot.
We can ask Ricky Cash and Aaron Phillips to come over there.
That
too.
bald-headed bastard. Some guys are a pain in my ass.
I don't know. Do you guys have 6 hairs combined? I don't know.
I love them guys. It was Rosh Hashanah yesterday.
It started, yeah.
It started, and that's why they weren't
Last
there.
night,
But
yeah,
next week,
that's right.
Ricky Cash and Aaron Phillips, love them guys.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to be with us
At
to
the
do
Tuscany Grill.
Tuscany Grill to do the interview.
Cool.
And I know that Pete, I'm going to have to send a limo
I'm
for
going to
Pete.
be in New York.
Are you really?
New York,
Bring me back
New
a sandwich.
York.
The wonderful
York.
town.
But you got to make a reservation. So call 702-940-1400. 702.
We love you, Lou.
940-1400. Make reservations with Lou because Lou said last night, he said, well, I didn't want to I invited a few of my friends, but I didn't want to invite too many because I didn't want it to be, take away the seats from your customers that are coming. So he says, now I'm going to tell everybody. He goes, I'm going to have it packed, but I got to have reservations because last night there were only, 2 tables that weren't totally packed.
Right.
Because
Everything
you saved
else
them
was
for me
full.
and my family, I guess.
That's right, and you weren't there, yeah.
And Yanko, Mr. Alex Yanko was there
Alex
with his
Yanko
mom.
with Vivian. Yes, he was
And it
there. Hi, Vivian. How you doing?
And you know what was nice, Sandy? It was nice for us to sing. We always love singing for our friends, which is nice. You know what I mean? They're like when Sinatra, he always got his following. But it's nice to perform for people that did not know who we are.
Yeah.
That do not know us.
Well, Sandy was there with her husband. I'm sorry, I forgot his name. But Sandy was there, and they had her mother there, and she comes up from Newport Beach, and she says, "Oh, now they're going to bring me up next time too, so I could come and see you."
Oh
guys.
yeah, that old lady was so nice.
She was just visiting, for the night and or for a couple days, and
Well, we're going to come back to a recipe, but I know we got somebody on the phone, and he just said we got 2 minutes.
We got somebody on the phone. Oh my gosh, who do we have?
It's Dan Rogers.
Dan Rogers. Hi, Dan. How are you?
Well, I'm just loving this interview. I got to tell you, I've learned some very important things here. From now on, when I go to an Italian restaurant, I'm going to ask for a meatball first.
No, I'm serious, Dan. They ask them,
That
say,
way
give
you'll
me,
know.
Don't pay. Even if pay, say, give me 1 meatball, the sauce, and that'll tell you right off the bat because you got to remember something. When you got the red sauce, Dan, you could do a million different things, and that same sauce they use for chicken parmesan. Okay, eggplant parmesan, baked ziti, and you taste that meatball in that sauce. I went to some place, I said, this sauce is dead, this meatball's terrible, and I just say, forget it. So I'll go with something else that I know, like a steak or a piece of fish. So I always do that every time I taste a meatball, and that tells me how that sauce is going to be.
Well,
go ahead, Dan.
Let me tell you guys something. My second wife was full-blooded Italian. I loved her family, her mom and daddy. Her mama once told me, where there's a will, there's a relative. That's what we Italians say. And her dad broke his left arm, and her mom said to me, hey, Joe's got a speech impediment. He can't talk too well right
now. Oh, my God. We got to make you open the show next week.
I love the Italian people.
Well, that's great. So do I.
I'm fond of them myself.
Really? Well, we want to thank you for calling, Dan. We love you, buddy.
Dan, so tell us, are you one of our regular callers today?
No, I don't think so. I think I was scheduled to do an interview with you at 9:15, so I called in at 9 o'clock.
That's what I was. That's what I was thinking.
No problem.
Yes. So, Dan, we got a couple of you scheduled. So tell us a little bit about what you do.
What do I do?
Yeah.
Well, I have this sign that I stand on the corner and I say, "We'll beg for mercy." No, I'm just kidding. I'm a singer-songwriter. I have been all my life. I wrote my first hit for Johnny Nash when I was 15, and John Lennon sent me a message. It was the greatest song he'd ever heard. So I tell people I started at the top and worked my way down in the business.
Well, Dan, Dan, I want you to hold on a second because we got to go to a quick break, and then we'll be right back, okay?
We have other callers,
So if
too.
you're just tuning in now, you're listening to Sandy Kastel and Friends Variety Show with Chef Michael and obviously Dan Roberts, and we're going to have also James Goy, and he's going to be talking about how to attract money with mind power, and Peter Anthony of Let's Talk About Your Hair.
Oh, yeah, Pete. That's my buddy.
baby.
Peter Anthony, my buddy.
And I'm sitting here with mine.
Hi, and welcome back to Sandy Kastel and Friends Variety Show with Chef Michael. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Where'd he go?
Went to get me a coffee.
He went to get you a coffee. Where you from, Peter?
I don't know. I'm from Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. Oh, that's the accent there.
There you go.
So, Peter, we've also got a couple callers here. We've got Dan Rogers, singer-songwriter. We've also got James Goy on the phone, who talks about how to attract money with mind power, which will be right up your alley, too, because I know you do a lot of marketing.
Oh, we love it.
And you help people learn how they can promote their business. So, hi, guys. Dan,
I'm here.
how you doing? All right, welcome, James Goy.
Happy to be here. Thank you.
Hi, James. How you doing?
I'm doing real well. Thanks.
Good. So, I was watching a little bit of your video, about how to attract money with mind power. That's very important. How did you get started with that?
Well, I came to California from New Jersey as a young man way back, more than like 35 years ago, let's say. And after coming here, I started finding books on these types of subjects and all kinds of spiritual, metaphysical, mind power books. And the whole subject just gripped me. Within a few years, I was teaching it, and I always had a special interest in applying it to money because that was my great need. And so as time went on, the whole concept and idea for a book, specifically this book developed. I saw a great need for it because even people who understood metaphysical technique, I would often find that they didn't know how to apply it to money, or they'd have special problems with money. And so I wanted to be a one-stop book to really address that issue.
Well, Dan Rogers, have you ever, do you think this is something that all of us can use?
Well, I would certainly hope so. I know my ex-wife must have used it. You want to know how to attract money?
She attracted you, right?
I'm getting to where now when I see a beautiful woman, I just walk up and give her a check for $500,000 and ask her to please not marry me. That works best for me.
So, Peter, I know that you attract money too in different ways. It's a lot through marketing.
We do a lot of marketing, but as when you're Italian, how you attract money is you give them the look.
You give them the look?
The look. Michael's got that look. I've got the look. You give them the look, and then they give you money. It's
The
fantastic.
Who's that?
Of love.
It's funny. You remember that commercial years ago? You said the tuna commercials. Tell them Charlie sent you.
Yeah,
remember
right.
the Charlie tuna? Well, it was funny. I went to, Smith's is my major customer. The major sponsor. So I go. I said, let me go to Albertsons. I was at Albertsons. I had to get something, and I walked in and I asked for the manager, and I had some fun. I went, "Hey, Charlie, send me." You know what I mean? The guy came back with a bag with $10,000. I couldn't believe it.
That's what I'm saying. You give them the look.
How do you like that one, Lou?
Okay,
boy.
So James,
Yeah.
you also do videos. Hello?
Yes, I haven't done any in a while, but I do have a whole bunch.
So that was an old one?
YouTube videos.
Was that an old one?
Which one was it? Do you remember? Well,
How to
I had
attract
short
money.
hair.
They're
all quite old.
No, this one had long hair.
Oh, really?
Long
A video?
beard.
Oh, okay.
Rip
I
Van
forgot
Winkle.
I did that. I'll have to find out which one that is. Oh, boy. Talk about mind power. Memory.
Well, so how does just using your mind power make a difference? Is it just your attitude?
Well, it really makes all the difference, and many of the mystics and even, teachings of all religions, even in the Bible, as a man thinketh, so is he, and if you have the faith of a mustard seed, you can say for the mountain to move from there to there, and it'll move for you. There's a basic understanding that mankind has had, a select few anyway, is that the thoughts we think, they have a basic frequency, they actually exert energy and influence into our surroundings. And we all know people who have really positive attitudes who, when I was growing up, there was a kid in the neighborhood, and he just thought he was the luckiest guy in the world, and he couldn't lose at anything. If we went to the horse track, the Meadowlands, he'd win. If we pitched quarters, his quarter was always on top of yours. He took everybody's money, playing cards. And I realized years later when I found this, he just had this mindset, and he thought he was lucky, and so he was lucky. That's all he had was the belief. And so that was an early sign to me that I didn't understand at the time. But how we think and the things we come to expect and believe, that's the things we will always tend to draw to us.
Well, Louise Hay,
couldn't
right?
agree more. Wow.
You know Louise Hay, right?
Yes, Louise Hay, certainly.
Yeah, and I went to see her, and I read her books, I think back in the 80s, I think. And she has, had all these little books, and it was all about positive affirmations, and that's before everybody jumped on board. And I saw her a couple years ago at one of her events, and here she was. She was in her 80s, and she's sitting up on this chair, and she's swinging her legs. She looks like a little kid up there, and she's just swinging her legs, and she's got this cute dress on, and she says, you know what, I'm always talking about affirmations and stuff, and she said one day I realized that I'd wake up and I go, my back, she goes, you know what, that's really an affirmation. So she started, anything that we're doing, if we're saying, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can never do this, and there's never enough, she said those are affirmations also. And sometimes people don't realize the things that come out of their mouth and the things that they're thinking. So she turned it around. And then in the morning, she said, when I wake up in the morning, I thank my bed. I thank my bed for having a good night's sleep. And then I get up and I go to the mirror and I said, thank you, thank you, thank you, and you're beautiful, and I love you. And, she has these affirmations, and she started writing them, believe it or not, she'd write them on the window, like where she's sitting at her desk, she'd write these affirmations up on the window. And, because she said, here I am, I talk about affirmations, and even the negative things that we say are considered affirmations. So be careful what we say. And I learned something else a long time ago. If you say, I can't do something, if you just add at the end of it, yet, then that gives you the possibility that someday you can.
But a lot of people, yeah, very good. There's the audience. Standing ovation. Yes, look at everybody. A standing ovation Sandy Kastel just received. I'm a firm believer in something. If you know you have the gift, you have to take a beating in a ring to see if you really got what it takes to stand up. Anybody can, like when Tyson did it, Tyson was great. He knocked everybody out. But there was a question, I remember back east, was a friend of mine. You go into a bar. Could you take a beating? Could you get out in the ring knowing that you're outbeat and yet you won't go down? Jake LaMotta was that way when he fought Sugar Ray Leonard. When he fought Sugar Ray Robinson, and he couldn't knock him down. He wouldn't go down. He took a beat and he wouldn't go down.
Kept getting up.
That's what life is all about. It's
right.
nice to get up in the morning and everybody's mortgage is paid and you got money in the bank, and it doesn't happen that way. So it's easy to hit the canvas. When they start counting, you say, guess what? I don't want to get up. But the true key is to stand up, like Sandy said, and to make that difference, because through in our life, the vicissitudes that we go through are absolutely incredible, and that's what keeps everybody the strength that we have. Like Sandy and I, we do a cajillion different things. Yeah. We make an empire, we lose money here, we make money, but people come your way, and I found in my heart that people today will follow you if you are strong. If you're weak, right. I'm telling you something, you're going to be you're going to be left out in a boat by yourself.
And it goes back to the faith, having the faith of a mustard seed.
Yeah.
The context of that is, if you believe you can or if you believe you cannot, you're right on both accounts.
Right.
So when you believe you can do it, you believe it will happen. I like adding yet. I can't do it yet, but that gives me permission to postpone. I like saying, I can do it. Right now, it's happening. right now. It might not be happening in the amounts that I'm looking for, but if I continue to increase that, I change my physiology, I change the way I interact,
right,
and the way I see possibilities. I mean, what is luck? Luck is really, preparation and opportunity coming together. So if I'm constantly prepared because I have a superior mindset in the sense that I don't ever put anything negative into my mind. I love thanking the bed. I make my bed every morning.
Yeah.
This morning I made it with my kids. We all make our beds because we feel that gives us that we're being gracious and humble to our beautiful environment. We live in a great house. So I need to attract some more money there, man. I need to read your book.
Right, and the other thing is a lot of times, and James, I'm sure you'll appreciate this, when we're going through things, sometimes it takes a step, one step forward, and we end up taking 2 steps back, 1 step forward. When you're changing your modality, changing your habits, and changing your way of thinking, and sometimes it's just a matter of giving somebody other cues, other tools that they can utilize. And that's why I said, if you find yourself saying something negative and you add that yet, then it takes that finality off of it.
And it gives you the opportunity
to get to it. And I have a song I wrote. It says, "Don't tell me I can't. Don't tell me I can't. Don't tell me I won't. Don't tell me I never will, 'cause you'll be sorry when I'm gone.
Easy, mama, easy.
Don't tell me it's way too late. Don't tell me I'm past my prime. Well, don't tell me I don't fit the mold, 'cause you only change my mind, only waste my time." Anyway, the idea is that people, tell you throughout our lives, we get told you can't, you won't, you never will. Don't listen to them. Follow your heart, follow your passion, and do something towards that goal that you have in your heart and in your mind. Do something, a step towards it each day, and eventually you're going to accomplish all your goals.
100%.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. And also, I believe in a thing called divine, that I call, or others call, divine order. And that is to not be in too much of a hurry. See, it's our job to come up with the end results we want in our minds, but not all the ways to figure it out, because the universe / God really does know better how to work out the plans. And when you believe in divine order, you know that if you can't quite get what you're trying to get right now, there could be a very good reason for that.
That's right.
Because if you get it right now, it'll be in the wrong way. So it gives really just a wonderful sense of patience and trusting in the process. That if we stay positive, if we stay strong, and if we get up every day with that proper mindset, greet the day with gratitude and all, as you guys have been talking about, and speak right and think right, as Louise Hay is a great example of and teacher of, then things will work out in the best way.
That's right.
Part of divine order, inherent within that concept, is the concept of divine timing. And so once we get all of this, it's not a whole lot of stuff. I mean, this is really not that people think, oh, it must be so hard to do. It's not that hard. There are a few key principles and techniques to get down and a mindset to develop. And once you have it,
and
you have it.
The other thing is sometimes our life takes a detour, and sometimes, things happen in our life that throw us off course, and it's okay. You can get right back on.
It's funny you should say that, because yesterday, Sandy and I, we were entertainers, performers, and we played at the Tuscany Grill in Henderson. The Tuscany Grill in Henderson is a restaurant. It's not a supper club. It's not geared for entertainment. Okay? It's geared for a restaurant. They have a restaurant on one side. They got a bar on the other side. You know what I mean? And they had some entertainment up there, like little bands and stuff like that for music. But not for a major show.
Yeah.
Okay? Where the world stops and everybody turns and watches. Because it was I tell you, it was really a tremendous test, because, people are going up there to dine. They didn't come up to see a show. They were not notified that there was a show.
No, they just came up.
They come up just to sit and eat, and just for great food. And Lou, Mike, and Jerry, these guys have been in business 11 years. They've been up there with a tremendous successful restaurant. I said to Sandy, Sandy, we're going to knock them dead, or we're going to close tonight. It's going to be one or the other. Where Lou would say, Mike, we tried it. Thanks a lot, buddy. But I thank you very much for your time. We had a great time. Here's whatever I'm going to give you. We're out the door. This guy took a shot. We believed in our heart that what we can do. People are packed in there. Had no idea the show. We get up that day. I got Sandy's albums. We went to every table, shook every hand. My name's Mike Leonetti. This is Sandy Kastel. Here's an album. How much is it? No. It's on the house. Sandy gave everybody an album. They sat. They finished their dinner. The show opened up. Nobody moved. So that showed me that it was what we did. We put our mind to it, like you said, and it was a success.
That's right. And guys, I just got to ask you to hold again because we're going to go to a quick break. If you're just tuning in now, you're listening to Sandy Kastel and Friends Variety Show with Chef Michael, where you never know what to expect. We've got our guest, Dan Rogers. We've got James Goy, also talks about how to attract money with mind power.
Oh, yeah.
And Peter Anthony. Yes, let's talk about your hair.
Recipe.
We'll be right back.
He's a winner. This is Sandy Kastel and Friends. Here again, your host, Sandy Kastel.
Hi, and welcome back to Sandy Kastel and Friends Variety Show with Chef Michael. You know, Dan, I know I wasn't expecting you to call today. Sorry, but you know, you got your show, Unfinished Business, that you've already done, and it's being released across the nation in Canada next month. And it says here you've already been picked up by PBS, Fox, ABC, and CBS affiliates, and you're picking up major markets each week.
That's right. It's happening, and I'm excited about that. They're turning my book into a screenplay for a movie. I couldn't believe at my age that my career would come back like this. And I was just in Vegas with the Sun City Anthem people out at Freedom Hall, and I headlined a fundraiser, and my old friend Tony Orlando, Marty Allen, just a bunch of us, they filmed a TV show there for the Sun City Anthem people, and so I'm really excited. I love Vegas, and it looks like my next TV special is called Lifer, and part of it will be shot in Vegas. I'll be headlining there at a casino in a major room, and they'll be shooting shows every night and preparing for the next TV special the end of next year. So
that's great.
Here I am.
That's great. Yeah. So see, there you go. Perfect example. Sometimes, you know, you think you're going to be, you know, at 20 years old, you're going, where's my big shot? Where's my big shot? But you got to keep doing the steps, and then all of a sudden, here you are later on in life, and you're all of a sudden you're all over the place.
Look at me.
And I'm loving this interview. I'm loving the talk about the universe/God, because I read the book The Secret, and I believe so much in everything that is going on right now. It's all about your attitude and your perspective.
That's right. Well, you know, you can walk around with your shoulders rounded, and you can sit there and you can say, poor me, my dad didn't didn't believe in me, and poor me, you know, I never got a chance, I never got an opportunity. Or you can say, you know what? Didn't get that opportunity, but that's okay. I'm going to go out and find another one, right?
Next.
You know what? And I've hit the canvas many times. I love who was it? There's so many people on the show. Was
Chef
it Peter
Michael. Chef Michael.
Jeff?
Or Peter.
Talked about Peter. Oh, I don't care.
Peter Cottontail.
Somebody talked about having to hit the canvas.
Me.
You know what? I've hit the canvas many times in my life, but Rocky is the whole theme of those sequels and everything of getting back up. You know what? You got to get back up.
That's right.
You got to keep
take
going.
That next hit.
But I'll tell
it
you,
really is true. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
But I'll tell you something. In my life, when I hit the canvas, and I'm proud to say it, it was Jesus Christ that lifted me up, pal. You know what I mean? And I looked in that corner when they wanted to count me out. He said, "Get up! You can do it. Get up!" And I got up to take another beating. But guess what? As I was getting punched, I was getting stronger.
Well, the other thing is following your passion.
Yes.
You know, what I've found is a lot of people that are empty nesters, or something happened in their life, and all of a sudden their life savings has just gone down the tube because of some investment that didn't work out right. They're reinventing themselves, and in order to do that, they're going back to what they loved from the time they were little. Because there's certain things, like myself, I'm a singer. When I was 4 years old, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a singer, and now I've done a lot of different things things around that throughout my lifetime. I've written a book, I sculpt, I do these other things. But at the core of me, it's getting up on stage and singing, and it just comes out of me. And if I put it on hold for a while and I don't do it for a while, it's like I'm missing something. And so people are going back, they're finding what their passion was when they were a child, because the child is in tune with themselves, So they're going back, they're rediscovering that passion that they had when they were a child.
You know what? This book that I wrote called Love, Laughter, and Rage that is out right now is exactly about that. It's more than a autobiography. It's filled with celebrity experiences, but it's all about becoming an inspiration in the end, getting up off the canvas, as you said, and going for it. I just did this show April 28th. I mentioned at Sun City Anthem there, Freedom Hall. And do you know that I was the youngest guy on the show at 61? It was a variety show, and there were 80-year-old choreographers and dancers, and people were living their dream.
That's right.
I tell people when I sign my book, live your dream. Don't wait for it to come true. Live your dream every day. Get up if you're a singer. Go sing. Even if it's at a nursing home or just sing in the front of the mirror. Go sing.
That's right,
Live
because
in
there's
your
someone
passion.
out there that's going to appreciate what you're doing for them, and you're going to bring a smile into their hearts.
That's right.
And Peter, I know that you're always Peter has a 12,000 square foot salon. It's kind of funny because when I first met him over at Sienna's, we were talking and Danny Vegas introduced us. Danny Vegas. Remember?
Did.
Yeah, he introduced us, and he said he does hair, and I said, "Oh, well, where's your salon?" And he goes, "Well, it's not really a salon. I don't know if I'd call it a salon. It's 12,000 square feet." I said, "Oh my gosh, that's more like a city." But the thing of it is
beginning of an empire.
Beginning of an empire. But what he also does is he has meetings. Once a week you get together or marketing?
We do a fantastic marketing meeting, and it happens once a week, Tuesdays from 4 until 6. This week we'll skip it. It'll be Thursday. We'll push it back because I'll be in New York City teaching.
Somewhere else.
Yeah, somewhere else. So, but it basically it's discussing the same concepts that we're talking about and sharing now. One of the things that it's really important to me to make sure that we get across. I love verbal affirmations, but I think something that Mike is leading to, Chef Michael, and one of the things, it's really a physical affirmation.
Yes.
When you get up, it's a physical affirmation. It's happening in your head.
That's right.
You're not sounding it out with your voice, but your body is responding to your desire to move forward.
Right.
And those physical daily affirmations that we make within ourselves, for Italians, it's I talk with my hands. Don't cut off my left hand or my right hand. I'll be speechless. But those physical affirmations, whether it's singing, once you start singing, you start singing. Once I start cutting hair or once I start preparing food, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And as long as you're doing physically what your gift is, your internal gift, then everything has an opportunity to happen. Everything. And we share our gift every day with about 1,500 to 2,000 people a week at our salon, and I completely feel blessed that I get that opportunity to touch human beings and just help make them feel beautiful so that they can physically respond to that.
Yeah, and you know what, Chef Michael, the way he touches hearts is not only through his performing, through his drumming. He was a child prodigy at the age, prodigy, and he was playing drums, and he sat down at the piano, and he started playing the piano. He wasn't trained, and but where he really touches our hearts too is when he goes into that kitchen and he prepares. And when you have his meatballs, you never go back.
His polenta. My wife loves his polenta.
The polenta. People, girls that are like 110 pounds are going back 4 or 5 times to his meals.
I give all the credit to, when you taste my cooking, it's something that your great-grandmother did. Because if you go to YouTube and put Shopping at Smith's, Sandy and I did a TV show for them. And I lifted up a spoon. And I said on the radio, I said, when I was 18, my grandmother called me into the living room, and I thought something happened, and she looked at me, my uncles, my aunts were there, and she handed me the spoon. And the Italian culture, my neighborhood, when the grandmother hands you the spoon, or your mother, that means you do the cooking. I'm 62 years old. At the age of 18, I was the guy who did the cooking for my family. That was Easter, Christmas, Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? I stepped in where my grandmother stepped down, and it was a great honor for me. So the culture that I did, okay, that type of cooking is passe. Right now, you got the culinary arts, and it's all culinary, and you watch television, and they got all these wonderful.
It's all fusion.
Yeah, it's all that different stuff. But when it comes to me, it's like if we get into a time machine, I can take you back to 1938 or 1920, and you walked in some Italian restaurant in the Bronx in Staten Island, and you got some old lady that just got off the boat from Naples, and she went into that kitchen and cooked. That's the hook. The Ferraro's restaurant here, I knew his mother. The old lady from Italy, she was in the kitchen. That's how Ferraro started.
Right, that's right.
When that old lady died, it changed, because you cannot teach somebody what comes from your heart. You can't. You could show them that.
Right.
But cooking is from the heart. It's like singing. Right. It's a whole nother ballgame.
Hey, guys, you know what I found? My second wife, Angela Salamoni.
Oh, no.
I walked into church, and I saw this angel of a woman singing in the choir, and I turned to my friend Robin, and I said, she better give her heart to Jesus, because the rest of her belongs to me.
Oh, easy now.
I married that woman, and I'll tell you what I found about the Italian culture that started my love affair.
I don't think you could talk about that on the radio.
You would walk into her mom's house, and you would bypass the living room, go right to the kitchen, where her mom would proceed to cook you a 5-course meal. She made her own bread. She made her own pasta. There was always meat sauce going in that kitchen. You could get up at 3 in the morning.
That's what he does.
And you know what? That's what I loved so much about that. The people just touched my heart. It was so beautiful. And I just fell in love with the Italian people. I've never been to Italy, I'm ashamed to say, but I'm going someday.
Well, you've got Italy right here.
That's right.
You know, you had it right here in your life.
You got it right here.
You know, and I got to say, that's exactly what Michael does. He brings us all together with food. And if you're just tuning in now, you're listening to Sandy Kastel and Friends Variety Show with Chef Michael. Oh, my gosh, we're having such a great time.
Ain't it great?
Yeah,
I'm hungry. I want a meatball sandwich.
I know. We'll be right back after a message from our sponsors.
He's a winner. This is Sandy Kastel and Friends. Here again, your host, Sandy Kastel.
Hi, and welcome back to Sandy Kastel and Friends Variety Show with Chef Michael. We've got Dan Rogers here, and we've got James Goy and Peter Anthony. Hey, Dan.
I'm here.
How you doing, Dan?
I was fine, but I'm over it now.
Listen, Dan, where can people find out about what you're doing? You have a website?
You can go to Dan Rogers. I spell my name with 2 N's just to be unique. How about that? danrogers.com, and you can see everything that's going on right there. So that's the best way to find me. I'm on Facebook too, but I like to write jokes and tell jokes, and I just keep my audience on Facebook light.
Well, that's good. And then
entertain.
And then also, you're going to be back out here in Las Vegas next year, so you'll have to give us a call and let us know when you're coming out, okay?
I certainly will, and I've got to meet Chef Michael and try his meatballs.
Oh, you've got to, I tell you, because you will be spoiled after that. You'll be comparing all the rest of the meatballs you ever have in your lifetime to Chef Michael's meatballs.
My ex-father-in-law said when he met his wife, he said, I thought I was in love. I found out it was indigestion, and after that we learned how to fall in love.
Well, thanks a lot for being on the show, Dan. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. I look forward to it.
Okay. All righty. Take care. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye now.
And then James.
Yes.
You still there? So tell us where people can find out more about your how to attract money with mind power.
Okay, well, my website is GoIJR.com, or if people don't have a pencil right now, just remember attractmoney.org. And, of course, I'm on Facebook and Twitter and everywhere, so just punch in my name anywhere and I'll pop up.
And then you'll see those videos that I saw that are from a long time ago.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some new ones, but
you need to. Yeah,
definitely. I have a whole series.
Keep updating
20
them.
videos for one chapter of each of my books, so people can get a whole education just from those.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for being a guest here today. We appreciate it.
Thank you. It's been great fun. I appreciate it.
Okay, stay in touch.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Peter.
Yes.
Where can people find out about you?
Oh, anywhere. If you go to letstalkaboutyourhair.com, you can find out about our salon on 10,300 West Charleston Boulevard. It's fantastic. You can find out at Underground Revolution, which is our distribution.
Underground
Very
Revolution.
cool. Undergroundrevolution.com.
Okay.
And you can find out about the men's haircutting championships at the world famous Tropicana on November 17th.
What is that? The World Championship
Men's haircutting championships.
Oh my gosh. Michael,
famous
you going to
Tropicana.
go?
Yeah, I want to go. Get my head bumped.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
And also, they can come out every Tuesday afternoon, except for this Tuesday. It'll be moved to next Thursday.
This Thursday, but on Tuesday afternoons from 4 to 6 at our salon on West Charleston Boulevard. Let's talk about your hair.
Okay.
They can come in for a free marketing meeting, and we teach different tools for marketing, Facebook, some of the tools that we're using, how to integrate or cross-pollinate with local businesses. There's generally about 25 to 30 business leaders in the community, so it's a great place to network as well.
And then the other thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a segment on Stay Fit and Fabulous Forever.
Nice.
Forever.
Nice.
Yes, let's talk about your hair. So we've got Mimi Williams on the line. Hi, Mimi. How are you?
Well, I'm fine. You know, Sandy, I try to listen to you guys every morning. Sometimes you wear me out before the hour is over. But today was just absolutely wonderful. There was something special that I heard. I'm sorry I didn't get to your show last night. Just, I couldn't find my passport to get from Summerlin to Henderson. But
we'll have to send a bus, right?
I think so. But I just congratulate you guys, you and Chef Meatball. I love that one.
Chef Meatball. I did say that, didn't I, Chef Meatball? Oh, my God.
And that was going to stick.
Sorry, Michael. It was Mr. Magoo. Now it's Chef Meatball.
That could be. It could wind up attracting money for us all. So
there you go.
That's not a bad idea. Never met a meatball I didn't like.
Everybody's busting my hump today, boy.
Oh, they're busting your meatballs.
Busting my meatballs today.
You never know what to expect here.
I just want to tell you that I really appreciate you, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful. I'm happy to be a part of this whole thing. So,
well, thank you, Mimi, and also thank you. On the 26th, you guys are having a great thing. The Jazz Society is having a great event.
We're having our picnic, and somebody better bring meatballs.
That's
I don't know.
That's all right. I asked her if we could do anything. She says, "Yeah, bring meatballs."
No,
how many people? How many people do you have? Thousands there.
Well, there are quite a few. We because it's a free event. It's at the Winchester, and we do have people that sell food and beverage and all that kind of thing. We're going to have 4 groups playing there. Tom Hall and his bebop group, very, very, very good. With Gary Anderson. We've got the Groove Brothers.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
So that's October 26th. That's the week after we do our event over at Canyon Gate Country Club, which is October the 19th, and that is going to be a big band date. It's called An Evening in Concert at Canyon Gate Country Club with Chef Michael, Jimmy Molador, David DaCosta, Peter Pavone, and Mark Giovi. And do we have to go now? We have to go already. Oh my gosh, it's the end of the hour, Mimi. Thank you so much for calling in. We love you.
Love you guys.
And we will be here tomorrow morning, Friday morning. So tune in here on Sandy Kastel and Friends Variety Show with Chef Chef Michael. Ciao. Have a great day. Follow your dreams.